Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising Beta is out right now for a couple of days this weekend, and I wanted to jump in, play it a little bit, see how the game was playing with all the new system mechanics, and try and break down a couple of situations that have come up in the game, and sort of try and share that with all of y'all who might be interested in the latest anime fighter game to get some rollback. So, we're going to be looking at jump in pressure and how it relates to strike throw in this video. Initially, I started making this video because I thought that there might have been some heights where, depending on where the normal connected or when it was done, that my character might have been negative, actually, so that, you know, I would not be able to just take my turn. Maybe depending on the normal, maybe depending on the height of it, but that is not the case. That might have just been me playing on the PlayStation 5 version of the game, where there's actually about 5 frames of input delay that actually exist in that version of the game, which I got this little handy testing sheet from Nigel Woodall, who does all kinds of input delay testings for fighting games, and they post their findings on Twitter. If you look at the PlayStation 5 version, there's about 87 milliseconds of input delay, which translates to about 5.5 frames of input delay. That's pretty disgusting. That's a very high level of it. Whereas if you play the PlayStation 4 version on the PlayStation 5, you get about 41 milliseconds of input delay. That translates to about 2.5 frames of input delay. For those of you who don't know this math, there's 60 frames a second of rendering in a fighting game usually, and so we measure how fast or how plus or how negative, or we measure the speed of the game based on the number of frames, how many frames it takes for a move to connect, how long does it stay active, all those other things to it. There's about 16 milliseconds to a frame. Just that's how the time ratio sort of translate between each other. So that's what that math is there. So now that I realized that I was playing on a slower version of the game because, the game would take literally half as long to register my inputs, I switched to the PlayStation 4 Pro, and I thought that a situation that was a little inconsistent just wasn't actually the case. It was just a result of me trying to play visually and not recognizing how much I had to compensate for the hardware performance. So, but there are a couple of things I did want to go into regarding the strike throw game and how you should be defending against some jump in pressures. Now, obviously, the opponent can jump in like this with like a jump heavy, a jump light, jump medium, right? Various normals. This might be character specific. And then they can go immediately into their light auto combo to start their offense, right? From the light auto combo, of course, you can do your overhead, which you can't mash on. They can do their low, which you have to block. That's a true string low. It's a little minor overhead thing, right? So the overhead catches mashing, etc., right? But there is another layer that I figured out to this game that I think is kind of important for how you should be structuring your offense. Now, if we have a Catalina jump in at us, right? And I pick mash. She's set to try and throw us, right? So let's actually record this real quick. You'll see here that she immediately goes for throw. She can't actually throw me because I'm in the block stun. So if the attacker, the person who's jumping in, wants to go for a throw, they have to leave a gap, which means I can now mash like this, right? Like if I just mash cleanly, I'll beat it like every time, you know, with a light challenge. So that means there's got to be some conditioning to happen for it, right? Now, how does that conditioning take place? Well, if Catalina here, right, just jumps in and does this string, I can then fuzzy mash, which means you can see on my left side of the screen where my inputs are at. I'll even swap character positions just to kind of line them up more with where the characters themselves are standing. You can see here I am mashing. I'm a Percival player. I don't block. And because I'm in this true block string, I don't actually get anything that comes out. So how is one player, you know, supposed to deal with this, really, right? How are we supposed to take advantage of this? How are we supposed to say, hey, you shouldn't mash there so then I can actually throw you? Well, that comes down to this trick here, where we've been so far doing jump-ins into the light auto combo, and because of how quick that first light normal is, that first close light proximity normal is, it's a true string. But if we use our close heavy proximity normal, or our close medium normal, sometimes the medium, as you see here, true strings, but if we use the heavy normal, we actually get this situation where no matter how high I do it, right, we're actually able to create a frame trap where Catalina can't mash on me. And this is true if Catalina does it to me as well. Toward her, she's going to jump in correctly this time. Right, so she does that. I have her play. I'm going to mash, and I get frame trap, right? All of a sudden, I'm taking a huge hit because this is a heavy starter move. So, using the close proximity heavy normal is important for starting your pressure after you get a jump in because it creates a frame trap situation. So then, if I'm trying to fuzzy mash, I die for it, effectively. Now, you might be asking, well, if we're leaving a gap, then what happens to throw, right? Like, what if we have Catalina here set to throw us instead? Which, find counterattack settings, switch to action 1. Right, so you see here, if I immediately try to throw, even Catalina can mash a throw here, right? And then we get punished, actually, because our throw, like, whiffs unless we do it correctly, right? We delay the throw perfectly. But if we use this close proximity heavy slash, we will also frame trap the throw mash. So this is how the situation breaks down then, right? We want to start our offense with this so that then we are frame trapping both a reversal throw or someone reading a throw and trying to throw tech it, and we're also preventing a fuzzy mash. Now, there is something that this does lose to, right? Because we're leaving a gap, that means the opponent all of a sudden has a chance to instead reversal on us. I'm going to just double check. Make sure I have the right move selected. Yep. So if we go for this and they have a DP, all of a sudden, bam, we do get punished for it, right? So to beat that, then we got to try and call them out. Now, the bot here is always going to block that low, right? But if I have the bot, if I have Catalina here jumping at me, she goes low like this with that tight 2P, right? Me as a human, if I want a DP, I gotta press forward. All of a sudden you see that I get hit. And now this is happening because she's true stringing me and I can't reversal out correctly, right? I'm not getting this DP. Doing my inputs. You can see that, you know, that's just not going to happen, and so that's how you can beat a reversal DP attempt. It's just to go for this immediate gapless low attack. So that's something to be aware of in some matches. There's also beat reversal supers because they're all done with the quarter circle forward motion, right? And again, because this is a true string, I'm actually sort of able to fuzzy mash the super here, but, you know, depending on my timing, you know, it might, I might be able to block it safely. I might not be able to. It just depends on when the reversal's actually supposed to come out. Might be a human error on my part, but that's one of the reasons to also structure it like this, right? But if you want to beat throws and mashing, you should leave this gap by using the close slash heavy normal to get your combo, or your pressure rather, started. And then because you're using the heavy here, you're able to see and immediately like route into maybe some crazy high damage stuff, right? So like say Percival has some charges to him, I can start doing things sort of like this. Right, that's not even completing the combo to its fullest. Something like that would probably look like... And I missed my input there, but you can definitely do one more extension there. But you can make them pay. You can make them absolutely pay with their life by using this frame trap here. Again, they can mash throw on it, like Catalina's trying to do. Now, if you go for a throw, they will tech it, and so you can use that information to your knowledge. But, you know, you can leave this gap, and regardless of whether they mash or whether they try to reversal throw, you will beat that. So that's an important thing, I think, to be aware of when you are structuring your jump-in offense. If you want to beat invincible reversal, keep it tight. Go for a low jab to blow up someone holding forward, because they're not holding down to block. Lows, I mean. And if you're trying to beat out a reversal mash or a reversal throw, then you should be using the proximity close, heavy normal to correctly frame trap them and get a huge counter hit to then lead into all of your damage. Now, this might not be universal across the cast. There might be some characters where it is a little weird. I thought that was the case with Percival, where some of the height was dictating it, but it seems like it was just a result of me playing with input delay that I wasn't expecting. So, anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'll see if there's any other situations in Granblue Fantasy Versus that Rising that you want me to check out. Let me know.